Welcome back to Raising Ohana.
All right, we are Rach and Jace, and this is season 4. We have been doing this since what year?
2019. The end of 2019 is when we launched the Ohana Adventure podcast, which we have now changed to Raising Ohana.
Because we have been raising an Ohana for how many years now?
22 years.
That's crazy.
We're old. We feel old.
So, for those of you that don't know us, this is your first time or your second time, maybe even your 18th time. We have 6 children.
We have 6 kids. We have lived in multiple states and countries. We have traveled to over 23 countries as a family. So more so by ourselves or as a couple, we've traveled to more.
I have hit 48 countries.
Okay, let's not boast. All right, whatever. We're moving on. But 23 countries as a whole as a family, we've traveled with our kids to many places, and we've learned a lot there.
How many YouTube channels have we had over the years?
We have had 10 YouTube channels over the years, and a lot are still going. I think majority are still going. The ones that are not going or we've put pause on is my personal YouTube channel, Rach Bennett.
My personal YouTube channel, Jace.
Jace, but actually no. Jace Drives has now replaced Jace channel.
Because I love driving. I just drove an RV over the weekend. I drove this awesome Corvette and these off-road vehicles. I love driving, but let's keep going.
Jace has some awesome content. But as a family, we have had over 10 channels, and a majority of them are still in working order. Our main channel is almost to 5 million. Woo!
That is a lot. I think right now, within a couple days, we're going to hit 4.8.
9. Oh, 8.
4.9?
You're
4.8.
4.8. And we're so close to 5 million.
For once, my number was lower than hers. Congratulations.
That means we've been on YouTube 9 years and a bit. We'll hit 10 in December.
So what are we going to talk about today?
So today, we lost our kids. We have 6 kids, and we lost 3 of them.
Half of our children we've lost. Now, what do we mean by lost? They literally don't live here anymore. 2 of them don't. Actually, none of the 3 of them right now are in the same country as us. None of the 3 of them are in the same country as each other. Our oldest daughter right now is on her honeymoon.
She's officially married, and we have some really interesting thoughts on how we prepared her for marriage. So that's going to come up in the next episode. So make sure you guys are subscribed and you keep watching, because
we go into details. If you know us, we don't hold back.
We share the nitty gritty, and getting that girl ready for marriage was a lot.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. It was really exciting. But the other 2, so they've all officially, the 3 older have officially moved out of the house. And Clay moved out a long time ago, and then she moved back in.
She moved out at the very beginning, like January of 21, right? We had her graduation at the end of 2020, and she immediately...
Yep.
So all of our children, all of our children, the top 3 that have been graduating high school age, have all graduated early.
That's right. They've graduated about 6 months early, so they graduate like December before they would have graduated in May. And honestly, for the girls, that was a huge boost for them. They got to start college a semester early. They moved out of the house, and each of them, I feel like, moved out for different reasons. We prepared them in different ways.
Yeah.
And we're going to share a little bit about that upcoming. But for the older 3, they did graduate early, which was really exciting. And some of them we had to help a lot more. Some of them were very prepared.
Well, and that's one thing in our family that we have really focused on is nothing is fair.
That was not where I thought you were going. But that is absolutely right. Nothing is fair.
Is fair. Every child in our family is incredibly different from their siblings. And we have taken this kind of custom approach to raising each kid because, so one thing we use a lot is the Color Code by Taylor Hartman. Now it's Hartman Code?
People Code.
The People Code.
The People Code.
So what this does is it allows you to understand people via their motive. Because if I show up to a party, there might be tons of different ways. You can't judge me just because I went to the party. What was my motive for going to the party?
Jace goes to the party because it's fun. That is Jace's motive.
Why do you go to the party?
I go to the party to...
And this isn't in the book. This is our own thing that we do.
For 2 reasons. It could be for 2 reasons. One, for either a relationship motive. So either for a friend or for a boy, a cute boy maybe.
Not today. Not today.
So cute. Or the second reason would be definitely to like accomplish a task, because I am task oriented, and that is more of like a lot of my motives is accomplishing a task, which would be kind of like, honestly, the task would be like, I got to make a new friend, or I need somebody to notice me, or I want to, do something at the party.
Did we film the episode? It's on audio, but did we film the episode with Taylor?
We did not. So
we need to do that.
I think that was season 2. We had Taylor Hartman, the author of the People Code, and he talked to us about parenting via the motives and how to do that. And honestly,
changed everything.
We're gonna talk a little bit about this in another upcoming episode on how to help your kids communicate better, because this really changed our whole world and really helped our kids get along, which is one of the reasons.
Well, they helped us get along with our kids.
Yeah, honestly, so great. So going back to that curating per kid, this is honestly how we do parent. I feel like I read a million parenting books, and none of them was like perfect for all my kids, right? Like one parenting book was going to be like so great for child number 1 and a different one for child number 2, and there were definite concepts that worked with a lot of the kids, but nothing worked per kid. So I definitely think that you have to curate per child, because
and that takes getting to know your kids. And that's something nowadays with most homes, especially in the United States, needing 2 incomes.
Yeah.
It's really hard to spend. I mean, we literally spend morning till night with our children. And so it's really hard for other people. So that's where our dates come in. And dates don't have to cost money. Skate down the block with your kid. Go on a bike ride. Go on a walk.
Take them on errands with you. Like, hey, got to go to the grocery store. Why don't you come with me?
And then you stop for a little $3. Gosh, it used to be 50 cents. $3 ice cream, right? Something.
Yeah, honestly, and getting to know you is going to help you curate your parenting for that. So some of the ways that we lost our kids and they moved out were college for the first 2. And then Shay, who is our oldest boy, he is 18. He went, and right after graduation, he decided that he wanted to go and serve a LDS service, like religious service mission. And so he left straight from home.
Full religious mission. His isn't a service mission.
But I mean, like a religious mission which does service is kind of...
Okay, yeah.
Maybe that's confusing.
So there are 2 different missions. We're not going to get into that. But yes, so he did leave on a 2-year mission. Raquel
has left. She left earlier last year in 2024. She left in about a year ago. She's been out.
Yeah.
And so those 2, although they're doing the same thing right now, they left at different times, different things happened in their life when we lost our kids and they moved out of the house, and preparing them was very different. So I felt like with Clay, one of the major things that motivated her to move out, I think being an oldest child and with her motive and her personality, she was determined to go. Like she honestly probably for some time was thinking about, okay, do I go into college? Do I just move out of the house and start my own business?
She wanted to buy a condo because she had really good income at the time. She's like, can I just buy a condo? Can I buy an apartment? What can I do? I want to be on my own. Maybe I buy a duplex. And we're like, whoa, pump the brakes.
She had so many ideas.
At 17.
And this is like early on in her senior year, not closer to when she wanted to graduate. Like right at the beginning of her senior year, she was like, what can I do? Where am I going to go? What's my next step? She's always been goal oriented, very much like need a checklist. What's on the plan? And for her, parenting her to move out, to get her ready to move out and to go on to that next step was really kind of narrowing down her field of options, like helping her evaluate all the things that she had in her brain.
And choosing the best one. Like which one actually is the best for you, which was very different from Raquel. Raquel wanted to go to college. Mm-hmm. Clay wasn't sure what she wanted. She didn't know if it was college or just move out and keep on YouTubing. She kind of
just knew like, I need to do something for me. I need to be an adult. She was ready to like make that next step. And for her, it really was like kind of the pro con list. We wrote the pros and the cons for her,
Yeah.
which really worked out. We went over all the different universities and colleges, and we looked at programs like, do you want to do business? Do you want to, she was a dancer. Do you want to like major in arts or dance?
And then she changed everything that we set up for her after her first
Well,
6 months.
she went out there with business in mind. She has had her own, she has 2 YouTube channels. She had a, like a hair, not a hairline, but like an hair accessory line. She has jewelry line for her YouTube channels and her businesses. And so she went into university to learn more about how to do the business, how to run a business. And then, halfway through, she changed it to what was her major?
We don't know.
Wait, no. Psychology.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think because
I love psychology. I read loads of books. But
I honestly like psychology too. In her generals, it was like so exciting and this is something new. And I think a lot of people in university and colleges do that. They hop from one to the next because they're like, I'm going to change my major. I want to do arts. No. Now I want to do language. No. Now I want to do
And the universities
business.
love you for that because you just keep on paying for it.
That's right. You pump out so much cash. And then you're like, oh, well, these credits don't work anymore. Now I got to take more. Anyway, so it was really just eliminating the possibilities down and then figuring out what was right for her. Now with Raquel.
That was different. Raquel and Clay, or Claylea, are very different from each other. And Clay is a lot more like Rach. Raquel is a lot more like me.
She's very creative.
Yeah. So she wanted to go. But she wasn't dead set on it. She's like, I could stay. I could go. I could do this. I could do that. And so instead of Clay's like, I'm out, just point me in the right direction, Raquel was like, I think I'm out. Yeah. Clay did that.
That's so funny
That looked
because
nice.
I think at that same time, I was frustrated with Raquel. Me personally, because...
See? And I was frustrated with Clay.
Right? This is
I wanted
so funny.
Clay out of the house and...
Well, and I wanted Clay, to go and do whatever she wanted to do. But I was like, sure, I'll help you like figure out the path.
See, I just wanted her out of the house.
And Raquel, I was like, are you in or out? Like in or out? Are you staying in the house? Are you going to move out? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be in? I don't know. Not yet sure. And I'm like, figure it out, child.
So then I spoke with her creatively. I'm like, what would you like to do, Raquel? She's like, I'd like to be a photographer. Okay. Are there online courses you can take? Can you go pay a photographer and understudy? Can you, what? She started looking. She's like, okay, this university in downtown Chicago. And I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah, snap. No.
Now I need to get involved and I need to find a better program than that one because I ain't sending our little girl to downtown Chicago when we do not live in big cities.
Well, and
She's
what was
never had to
crazy
deal with a big
was
city.
after her being like, unsure, when we said, I think Chicago may not be a great option, she like dug her heels in and she was like, why, Mom? Why can't I go there? But it has this, and this. And I was like, I'm sure it does. Have you looked at all these other universities or colleges and like art, like programs that are out there? Like there's so many things out there.
That kept us up late.
Gosh, she dug her heels in and I was like, oh my gosh. Right? It has like one of the higher crimes inside the United States. As a city, it's got like... Anyways.
And I love Chicago. Like, I actually love Chicago
We're
as a
just
city.
not city people, so we're trying not to be super prejudiced against the city. We
I love
to
it.
visit cities.
But I'm not sending my 17-year-old downtown.
That's right.
So.
Seriously, not. So for her, it was kind of like trying to pivot her to what she wants, but not to someone.
Yeah.
As parents, we're still parenting. So parenting adults is a lot harder because it's kind of like we have to give advice and then
just love them no matter what.
And not be too strong or else they dig their heels in, but give them more options. So for Raquel, I felt like honestly completely opposite of Clay. Instead of narrowing down her options, we had to give her more options. Like, here's this option here. Here's this program online. Here's this university. What do you think about that? And then she took her time and she thought about it.
Until the very last second.
Yeah, Raquel.
Which is me.
We love Raquel and her creativity. And honestly, I procrastinate as well. But she definitely was like, I don't know. Oh, now I know. Like last minute. Now
she's like, maybe I'll do this. And then she leans in to see what your thoughts are to be like,
I know.
read
With
you?
her, we have to like, whatever you want. Just
But-
like lean back. No, it's your choice.
So then she ended up choosing this school, which was the same one her sister had gone to,
Funny.
and had a completely different experience than her sister did. She
Yeah.
became like some lead photographer there, and they called a new president to the school who loved Raquel. Raquel's riding in helicopters with the
She gotta
president
do,
of the
like,
school,
interviews
taking
and take her
photos and
pictures.
going all over the place. And she loved her experience out there. Clay did not.
Well, I think she did. She loved it for a time.
Overall, she did.
Yeah, that's right. She struggled at certain moments. Honestly,
I mean, she slept in somebody else's apartment for like a month and a half because she didn't get along with them.
yeah, she had
It
some.
was like there was a lot of stuff
She
going
had
on.
some roommate issues, where it was a little bit difficult for her. And then she did well, and then she was dating. Then she got a boyfriend, and then when that relationship ended, that was difficult. So I mean, those are real life situations, which I'm glad that she got to experience those because that is a real college experience,
Yep.
you know.
And then, out of the blue, she surprises us. I did all the things I need to do. I'm going to leave on a mission.
We were like, what? And honestly, we love it. And it was totally unexpected. And we'll talk. If you guys have questions on what an LDS mission looks like or what it's about,
We'll do a whole episode
we're going to
on
do a
that.
whole episode
Yeah.
on it. So comment down below. And if you are listening to this podcast, go over to our YouTube channel, Raising Ohana, so you can comment over there. And we will collect all those questions and answer them. But that was a total surprise for us. She decided to go and leave college and for 18 months, go and serve the people of Brazil by teaching them the gospel of Jesus Christ. And that was awesome and totally unexpected and honestly what she needed.
It was so what she needed and so unexpected because college time is a very selfish time.
Oh my goodness.
It's all about you.
So
what am I going to
selfish.
learn? What am I going to do? What am I this? What's this, right? Like, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if it's kept within, bounds.
But let's really talk about it because in Clay's situation, how you said she did not get along with her roommates. Really, when you have like roommates in an apartment, you kind of you're like toddlers that don't play with other toddlers. You gravitate around each other, but you never interact as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone does their own dishes. Everyone does their own shopping. Everyone does their own cooking. Nobody really shares. Occasionally you get a good home where if you know someone already, you can create like a home family atmosphere where you all get together and you cooperate in different ways.
Yeah, but
that
hers had
is
6 people in it, and
rare.
somebody was always ostracized, or somebody had to take the brunt
and
of
also
everything.
different, right? Like we had the dancer, the volleyball player, the track star, the
soccer
soccer player,
players,
the and then like the musical talented girls. And so it was all very different, which I think is awesome. It helps you to get along with each other. And I was reading or researching that they say that the general like consensus to move out, or Google says, is between the ages of 24 and 27. I thought that was so old.
That's so freaking late.
It's so
That's
old.
so late because you're already so set in your own ways, and you're going to demand other people bend to your. That's why us getting married young, we were still malleable in our ways.
Yeah.
We hadn't set up our own ways. We hadn't.
You're willing to sacrifice a habit because you're not 20 years attached to it.
Yeah.
You're willing to be like, oh, that's okay. I'll adjust,
And getting
with
married
that.
later is great. You find somebody that's amazing, that's great. But I definitely still feel like it's much easier when you do things younger. Like try to teach a 60-year-old a brand new language.
Yeah.
That's very, very hard versus an 18-year-old. Whereas these kids who go on missions, I mean, even Shay already, he sent a video and he's speaking in Cebuano, which is not a normal language.
Oh
And
my goodness.
Clay picked up Portuguese.
So
like
fast.
you can't believe anybody that she's been around here, even over a year later, they're like, oh my gosh, you speak like a native. And Raquel with her Italian, hearing her talk to people in Italian, it's incredible. So when you're younger, you do learn things easier.
So we definitely feel like having our kids move out of the house at 17, 18 was scary as a parent.
Yeah.
Did we feel that they were 100% prepared?
No. Is anybody ever ready for anything?
Never.
Nobody's
Never.
ever ready for anything.
I don't think we were ready for this podcast.
No.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
It's true.
You can be truthful.
But honestly, moving now at 17, 18, there are definitely things that they needed to be prepared for. but how awesome that they could learn as they go, and living on their
I
own
love
helps
it
them
when
so
they
much.
stumble a little bit. And then they call us like, hey, this is what's going on. I got myself into a pickle. They never said that, but
There were definitely a
but
few
there were
conversations.
oh
Yeah.
no, there were things that happened that we had to help with. And some picked up some stalker boyfriends along the way, and some picked
Yep.
up a little bit of an abusive one along the way.
Some got into some financial issues along the way. And honestly, and that's what parents are here for. We are here to help give advice, to guide along the way.
I'll
with
hop a
adult
flight
children.
immediately and come and do whatever I need to do. But I am so glad that we lost our kids to adulthood at young ages.
At young ages. And what was so crazy, I had so many moms and so many people be like, are you going to be okay when they move out? Are you going to be, I mean, like Clay's been gone, and she across the nation, right? We live on the West Coast, and
She was
went
on the
to
East Coast.
Virginia on the East Coast. And that was crazy. And then Shay helping him prepare to move out at,
Oh my gosh.
at 18. So he turned 18 in December, graduated in December of his senior year, and then went on a
Left.
mission in February of this year. And preparing him was way different than the other girls.
We thought the
Oh my
girls,
gosh.
we thought Raquel procrastinated. Shay is like taking the ACT and wanting to apply to a university 3
Like-
days before he moves out of the country.
We were like, what are you doing? I was pulling my hair out. Honestly, there were times where I'm like, am I a bad parent? Did I not prepare my son? What is going on? Like, I swear I taught him
He's
the
an
same
18-year-old
things.
dude.
I do think that boys mature mentally a little bit slower than girls, just at this
We'll say
age.
later, not slower.
Not slower.
Just
You're right.
later.
Just later. So like the mentality of the girls at 17 and a half years old. I mean, mind you, Clay did not turn 18 until the end of her first semester, right? So she had already been out a whole semester. And that was like, whoa. Like them going, I was a little afraid. But with Shay, honestly, graduate, I was like, he is nowhere near what the girls are ready for.
Well, think of Wyatt right now.
I know. I got a lot to prepare Wyatt for over this next year.
Wyatt is our 16-year-old that does not have his driver's license yet because he's like, why?
What?
Why? So Wyatt is the most homebody
He's chill.
of all the kids.
He's chill. He will go out with his friends maybe once a week, maybe once every other
It's
week.
Friday night right now, and he's like, hey, so what movie are we going to watch tonight? We're like,
We're like, you're going to go play basketball with your bros.
Yeah.
He was like, do I have to? And I'm like, yeah, go play. I mean, like, it's like a whole neighborhood thing. It's kind of fun. But anyways, so Shay, I felt very actually unprepared that I didn't do all the things I should have done. Like the last couple months before he was leaving, I was like, okay, let's cook all these things. Like we usually set up, I mean, these kids have been cooking since they were like 13, 12, 13, 14, depending on their abilities. And they have been doing chores since they could, be, I don't know, 6 years old. They've been doing chores.
my arms don't work.
My arms don't work.
That was Cora when she had to do chores.
She was like, I don't want to pick up, Corey,
My
you have to pick
feet
up clothes.
don't woke.
My feet don't woke. She was so cute with her excuses, but
That
that's what
girl-
you get for being a baby, like the youngest of the family.
That girl tests boundaries.
Well,
like you can't believe.
She just knew if she said cute things, her older siblings would do it for her.
That's the truth.
Anyways, so with Shay, I felt like he had done all the things. And more than anyone, he was emotionally ready. Honestly, I think he was emotionally mature
Yeah.
more than the girls.
Yeah.
Like relationship wise, I think he's going to be much better off than the girls
Yeah.
were at his age. And so like Clay struggled with those things on the relationship side, but Clay was very ready for like cooking, cleaning, organizing her schedule, her life. Whereas
Hopping
Shay,
in Ubers in Rio de Janeiro and going to the next location.
Right, like,
and
she's
like,
so good about that.
ready about all that.
but like Shay, super, super mature for emotional relationships and all of that. But will he remember how to cook rice? I don't know. Is he?
Actually, Shay's first meal, he messaged us. We get to talk to him once a week. And he messaged us and he's like, hey, so I landed. I got sent to my area, which is on the very tippy top in the jungle, literally in the jungle. There's not like streets.
He's like way out
dirt, and the home's built out of pallets with tin roofs. I mean, it's amazing. And the family was so sad. They're like, we don't have much food. So let's go to the beach and we'll pick a bucket of sea urchins and that'll be dinner. So he literally sent us a picture. This bucket is this big with probably 80, 90, 100
There was
sea
a lot.
urchins
There was
in
a
it.
lot of.
And they taught them where to put the little knife in, pop it open, take the meat out. And then she cooked some little rice and they would just.
Honestly, going on a mission is probably the best thing that anyone can do in their 20s because it pulls you out of that selfish mode that we talked about as a college kid,
Yeah.
where it's all about you and how to support and serve others.
Well, and your
work
cousin.
with others.
Your cousin, their daughter went and served a mission. And they're not LDS. They're not part of the Church of Jesus Christ. But
No,
she went and did
yep.
a mission
Mhm.
somewhere, right?
They're
I don't know.
Yeah, so
They're
she
your
did.
cousins.
Sorry, I'm so bad. But she's awesome. So she did a little, I think it's like a 3-month thing. She had to raise her own money and she went and did service again. And I think hers was either like, kind of building some homes, helping people in her community, which I think is honestly so great. And I encourage everyone, if you have the ability to send your kids, in their 20s or late teens to go and do that.
Serve somebody else. Because teen years are so selfish.
We'll talk a little bit more about that in that upcoming episode about what an LDS mission is, but because there are so many benefits from that. So Shay, I felt very unprepared as we kicked him out of the house. No, we didn't kick him out. As he left, because he had been talking about this forever.
Since he was a little kid.
Since he was a little kid, he wanted to do this. And he would say things like, not just the mission, but he would say, Mom, Dad, can you just like drop me off?
We'd be
over
driving
in the woods?
through Florida in the jungle and there's alligators. And then he'd
be like, can you just drop me off with like a pocket knife and pick me up in like a day or two? And we were like, you're 12. What?
Yeah.
He wanted to do survival
in Alaska,
stuff
nonstop,
all
everywhere.
the time.
Scotland, nonstop. So now he literally lives in a shack on the top of an island.
And it's very jungly outside. It is like real humble situation. And it's great. And I said, Shay, remember when you wanted to go and live in the jungle or just like be a survivor with your pocket knife? Guess what? You got it.
You got it. And it's on an island where Rachel's great-grandparents actually left when they immigrated to the United States.
That was so cool. Honestly.
I guess it was just a Hawaii at the time, right? Because it was like Hawaii wasn't a state yet.
No, not at the time. Hawaii wasn't a state. Nope.
So they went to Hawaii, but
that was before it became part of the United States.
Of Hawaii.
Isn't that crazy? So 3 kids that have been moved out. We lost them to the world, kind of.
To adulthood.
And 3 different ways that we helped them prepare to leave.
Yeah.
Which Shay, honestly, I think that the best things that we could have done or we did with him was helping him, like just encouraging and supporting his emotional like mentality. Like he was emotionally prepared, but like helping him just remember, these things. You've done this before.
Teaching Shay how to prioritize. I think Clay, it was
narrowing it down.
Mm-hmm. Raquel, it was broadening. Mm-hmm. And Shay, it was prioritizing.
That is absolutely true. He is so scatterbrained at times because he wants all of these things. Like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, this is fun. Oh, but now I have to go do this, right? He's kind of like all over the place. And so
all the shiny objects.
All the shiny things. And figuring out like just kind of like a task list. All right, what's the most important? All right, I want to do this.
He's like, but all 7 are important.
We're like, yes, but time-wise, what's probably more urgent? And then what's the next more urgent? Yep. And that's what we did the last 3 months before he left was going from item to item. What's a priority? What do you want? And he was really well balanced. He was doing the ACT, trying to get all of his submissions ready for university. And then on the other side, he was like, okay, I want to. It was so cute. The last week before he left, he would say, gosh. All right, I need to go on a date with everyone.
This is the emotional maturity.
He was like, I want to make sure I spend time with everyone. Okay, Evie, let's go and paint some pottery together because he knows that she loves painting and art. Okay, Cora, let's learn. Like he came down to this gym. We have like a mirror on the other side of this podcast room. And he and Cora spent a couple hours down here learning a dance. And not just like a TikTok dance.
No, like
an
a full blown.
Like 20, like not... It took it probably was like a full 5-minute song type dance, but like it took them at least an hour, if not more. Anyways, he spent so much time with each person. And I felt like helping him, like you said, prioritize was the best thing. And that's where curating parenting, honestly, per kid is important. So you get to know what's what that child
and
needs
that's
at that time.
Going back to the beginning of it, it's motive. Shay. So color code, super quick. Red, blue, yellow, and white. This is how, kind of to make it easier to talk about. Blues are much more about intimacy, relationships. That's the most important. That's the motive.
That's their motive. They want to do something for a relationship. Mm-hmm.
And then reds, it's power, and not just bad, but they want to be in charge. They want to get it done. They really are the people that
I'm a
lead
red,
the
but
packs.
we're going to say task list oriented, guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Next, yellows. Yellows, fun. That's it. Is it going to be fun? Then, yeah, not even going to go deeper. It's so easy. And then whites is peace. And so for Shay, very blue, very intimacy oriented.
Very
you
much
can tell his
relationships.
emotional maturity is much higher than other kids. Clay, it was like at the basement because she's much more, right? Clay's red?
Clay's blue red.
Yeah.
Which means she wanted the relationships, but her task oriented side kind of
puts things ahead of that. And so she typically will offend more people instead of bringing them in because she wants to get stuff done.
But she really clings to relationships. And when she finds someone that she enjoys to be around, she really like holds tight to them. And I think that is why at times she had a hard time with some relationships because other people don't want that, right? Like certain personalities are like, hey, that's like too much for me, you know?
So then Wyatt is peace. Do I need my license? If that's going to disturb things and make me have to work hard, I'd rather just have some peace. Let me just chill.
He's very chill.
But then there's Evie, and she's much more on the emotional side again. She's very much about everybody in the family. She's very much about all these things. But she respected and loved Raquel so much, she picked up this reading thing. So it's very interesting. She's about relationships and all that, but she loves time away, sitting and reading. She loves that for herself.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cora, red, like mom, get it done, take charge. Why are you crying? That makes no sense. No, I don't want to do that. Why aren't you doing that? It's amazing. But because of that, when the kids have
Raquel,
a bad day.
You missed Raquel.
Oh, Raquel's just like me.
She is. She's all about the fun.
Yeah, she's fun. And so it's so interesting because when one kid does something and this kid will do the same thing, it's not the same thing.
It means different things. And
Totally
honestly,
different.
like it should be that way, right? We're all very different. We all have very different motives, very different like personalities, and curating to that or understanding really comes just down to understanding what the needs of your child are. And that helps you kind of figure out the next step for them.
And it's so much easier to help them transition to adults if then they understand that.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait a second, why is this pissing me off? Mm-hmm. Well, because you feel like the person betrayed you because emotionally, Mm-hmm. Whereas our other child that's very much more power, red, like, yeah, why would that piss you off? Screw them. Move on.
And helping them understand that their way is not always right.
Yeah.
Their way is not always the best way or the perfect way. And so understanding that there are other ways that people approach things, other ways that people interpret can help them. So that's actually one of the best things I think in preparing our kids to move out is that self-awareness and understanding your own limitations as well as like your strengths.
The benefits that come from it. Yep.
And so as you mentioned earlier, Wyatt is 16. He turns 17 this summer, which means we have one more year and a couple months left with this boy before he may go to college, may go on a mission, and
whatever he chooses. That's the thing
chooses,
is we are here to help guide you. We're not here to turn you into us. We don't tell any of our kids, you have to be YouTubers. We don't tell any of our kids, you have to go to college. We don't tell any of our kids, you have to know.
It's actually a common like phrase where I'm like, whatever you want to be when you grow up, whether that's go to university, whether that's be an entrepreneur, whether if you want to go take a trades course.
You want to become a mechanic?
Whatever you want to do.
Epic. We'll help you do that the best way we can help.
Actually is something that Wyatt might do.
For sure.
A little update for Wyatt. When Shay was weeks away from leaving and all of a sudden wanted to take ACT, like this came out of the blue. Mom, I want to get into this university. And as a homeschool student, I need this ACT. I was like, whoa. So we dropped everything and we helped him study. We did courses with him, For 2 weeks, it was gnarly. And that is not the way to prepare for an ACT test.
He even chose to dump his girlfriend so that he could focus on it, which was crazy.
Again, emotional maturity.
Yeah.
Like, do you think
But
like any of the girls
then
would
the
do?
parents came after us thinking we forced him to. And we're like, that
Guys,
isn't the way this family works.
This was so gnarly. All right, little story time. Story time.
You can't do too much of it just in case. Don't do too much of it.
Okay.
Ugh.
Shay, our child number 3, dating this girl. And we told him, hey, months ago, he decided I'm going to go on this mission. And this mission for our LDS church is for boys 2 years. And that means no contact with girls. Like, I mean, you can like email and message friends and stuff like that. But ideally, they want to focus on what the goal is. And that is helping teach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so they encourage, like not really like hard string type relationships, like dating, stuff like that. Anyways, he decided that months ago. Then he starts hanging out with a big group of girls and guys. And then he starts dating this girl. We're like, hey, remember how you were like, want to go on a mission? You have already gotten your mission call and now you're starting to date someone. We were like, just so you know, it's going to be really hard when you leave
all of a sudden.
Leave someone, right? Like you should emotionally kind of be aware, like maybe this is something I shouldn't do. We tried to give advice, which was not taken. And that's okay. We get it.
Yeah.
But it came down to all of a sudden, we're getting emotionally attached really fast.
It wasn't the mission that did it. It was the ACT.
Yeah. So
he's like, no, we can keep in contact, which is totally good. I wrote lots of girls when I was on my mission.
Yeah,
it was
you
wonderful.
Can email, you can whatever.
But it was the ACT. He's like, I will not be able to focus. And so then he went and drove to the house and said the stuff. And the parents took it very differently than the way we would take something.
We had parents call us. I don't think I've ever called another parent when something like never. I actually have never called another parent.
No, this has happened with all 3 kids.
Wait, what?
Clay at 15 with the one boy.
All right, wait.
The parents came over to us
sneaking around
and blamed us for like everything bad that was going on in their family because our daughter and their son were sneaking around, but not doing anything bad. They were barely kissing each other, but still sneaking around to see each other and do stuff.
It's because it was COVID, guys.
So then, Raquel, I get a phone call from both parents.
Oh my!
Do you remember
goodness.
this? We want our child to come and stay with you in Scotland. And I'm like, no, you're not sending. No kid from somebody else's family. We had lots of visitors.
No, for the record, though, we felt that wasn't right because Raquel was preparing for a mission, but we knew that we only had limited time. So. Right, Clay had just come home from her mission. Raquel was leaving very soon. And this was like the last couple months. Our family was going to be together for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. So we were like, this is a really special time
and
for our
parents. This rando
parents.
family wants to send their little punk son into my little Scottish cottage while we're doing church service. Because that's what we were doing in Scotland for that 18 months. And I was like, I just don't feel like this is the best thing. And guess what happened? Clay and Rach teamed up on me.
Well, I was just trying to say, this is
don't
an
be such a hard A, Jace. You should let him come. And I'm like,
whatever.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, it didn't work out. So we didn't go with it. We didn't have him come. But then we had parents emailing and texting,
calling and calling
Jace.
and calling and calling.
It's so crazy. What is this? Is it us? Is it us?
No.
Is it our awesome kids?
It's our awesome kids.
Our kids are awesome.
So then Shay, with this whole thing, we're not going to go too much into it. We got multiple phone calls about we should let him date. And we're like, no. This was his choice. Well,
Yeah.
yes, but you should probably let him. No.
Okay.
This was his choice.
When they turn in the teenage years, 16-ish, and we have rules in our home, we have certain things like this, but we really encourage our kids to try and make decisions for themselves. And then obviously, however that happens, right? Like preparing for college or like going on dates or asking, like we actually never set up anything for driver's ed ever.
No.
I don't call.
You want a driver's license?
Sign up.
Do what you got to do.
And that is why Wyatt will be 17 in a couple months and doesn't have his license. He's working on it. But
that just also means he's not prepared for it.
That's right. And like our kids were like, again, when they turned almost like when they were 15, they're like, Mom, how do I do driver's ed? And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, what do you mean you don't know? And I was like, well, I'm sure Google knows. Like figure it out. And not like in a sassy way, but I was like, maybe you could call
No,
the
sometimes
school.
it was sassy.
Okay. This is how you learn is when you do it yourself.
Yeah.
Guys, when I have to call someone, then I realize, oh, this is how that works out. So when they had to call, they figured it all out.
Yep.
And so we do not push our kids to do stuff. We don't do the stuff for them.
Yeah.
That is something that as like,
When they need a ride there,
sure.
we will totally take them there.
And they're like, hey, mom, can you help me with this? Or, hey, mom, can you, pay for driver's ed? Yeah, let's look at like how we can earn that or what we can do for that. And that gives them way better ownership when they go, I paid for my driver's ed. I went to class. I figured out how to set it up.
Right?
And I did it myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in Boy Scouts of America, when I was a kid, right? All these people, when these kids would get their Eagle Scout, which was like the pinnacle of, Boy Scouts.
All right.
They'd be like, oh, wow. So your mom got her Eagle Scout. Because everyone knew it was the moms doing it. And so all these kids are there. They're like, oh, yeah, I got my Eagle Scout. I'm like, yeah, did you? Well, I mean, my mom did most of it. But me, I would get grounded. My mom would be like, hey, you're grounded until you earn 2 merit badges.
Boom.
I had 56 or something of the 80 merit badges. Everybody else had less than 20.
Amen to your mom.
50 something merit badges. So what I did is I went to a thrift store and there was a box with all the merit badge books.
Mm-hmm.
I put them on my shelf. And when I'd get grounded, I'd do like 4 or 5. And then when I could go and sign them off, I get them all signed off, but I wouldn't send those to my mom.
Oh,
I'd give her like 2.
Sneaky.
And then I'd have 3
what?
sitting in the wing because I knew I was going to get busted again.
When I get grounded next week, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so I I got my Eagle Scout when I was 12 years old.
But guess what?
You can only start getting it when you're 12 years old.
Your mom, right? Like
She
your mom
crushed it.
taught you how to be a self-starter. So amen to your mom.
Yep.
And what we do for our kids, they don't know how to do. If we do it, they're not learning it. So if they do it themselves, that's the way they learn. And I honestly, I'm the youngest of 5 kids. I have 3 older sisters and my brother was at the very top. And I don't think my mom did anything for him either for his scout, but he probably did it at 14. Honestly, if we do these things for them, they are not learning. So when it comes to driver's ed and things like that, that's why we have them do it. So back to the whole dating and Shay going on his mission. We were just floored because when our kids do stuff and they make decisions, I don't call and make excuses for them. I don't call parents and go, oh, I'm so sorry my son didn't do this because XYZ. No, if he needs to apologize, he's going to do that. I'm not making excuses because it's their life. So I think I was just floored when we got calls from parents that we were like, wait, why are you stepping in? Let the children or let the teenagers figure it out, right? Absolutely. Have that conversation themselves, not us, because it's not me. I didn't decide to break up with his girlfriend. I'm not dating his girlfriend.
Did you really though? Maybe it was you. Maybe you forced your hand upon your son, gave him no free will, and gosh.
Guys, that's not me. I don't get involved in the drama. But we were so proud that he decided to do that. It was a little crazy, a little stressful for him.
We took him out on a date and we're like, bro, that was a big move. Good job on that.
That was hard. It was tough for him, but he did it. And then honestly, helping him eliminate the tasks down and down and down until he left, he was ready to go again emotionally.
But that confidence he had when he left, he's like, I have done all I could do.
He did so much.
The phrase locked in, and he even crushed. He did really good. He did better on his ACT than a whole bunch of his friends that go to school full-time, studied full-time, did all the things. He did better than they did on his ACT.
For 2 weeks of cramming for that test.
Yeah, he crushed it. So
for our next kid, for Wyatt.
Oh.
Now, Wyatt's a whole different animal, right? He is chill. He takes things a little bit slower and calmer. So mentally, for us to prepare him for leaving the house or what the next step may be, we have to give him options, I think, way in advance.
We have to motivate. We have to help him to be motivated for it. I think we have to give Wyatt options, and this will take a lot of customization. We'll have to find the options that motivate him and then present them, and not in a crazy way, but just present them and then watch for those little ticks to see if he's like,
give him time. So
that's good. Yeah,
he's
to process.
the type where you can't go, hey, do you want to do A, B, or C? Tell me an answer now. No. He needs weeks. So hey, Wyatt, for your upcoming future, Do you want to do A, B, or C? I'll come back to you in a week or two. Like,
but then all of a
really?
sudden he comes back
Yep.
and he's got everything. It's dialed in. He's got options. He's figured out all the things about it, and he has gone and studied, and he
gets motivated, but he has to process a little bit longer. Like, I feel like he evaluates for some time before he makes a decision, which everybody has their ways.
As long as he doesn't get analysis paralysis and actually can make a decision, I am totally all good with all of this. But when all of that turns into this paralysis via over-analysis,
that's true.
That's when it's like, okay, now we need to fix this. This can be a great skill if you come to a decision at the end. If it leads to just spinning, that's when it's not okay.
That is super, super difficult. So what's interesting is I think we have a process for what Wyatt's going to do. Now, Wyatt right now, again, he is a junior. He'll be a senior next year in the fall. And we're already kind of starting that process to help him move out.
A year earlier than we did for Shay.
Help him be able to mentally think and prepare for what he would like to do next. Now with Evie, she is 14 and she turns 15 in May. She has been begging for months. Mom, can I drive? No, you are not even 15. You don't even have your driver's permit. She is already the earliest of any of our kids. Even Clay was super motivated.
Earlier than everybody.
But like months ago, she had been studying online the permit test.
She's already passed the test. Like the
perfect. The test, the practice tests, and she is highly motivated. So I'm interested what the next couple of years will look like for her, because she more than anyone has self-awareness. She understands herself like more than anybody. In our family. And so like she has already been thinking about things. So when she comes to us, we know she's already like weighed the options most of the time.
Well, because Evie watches everybody else. So she saw how we worked with Clay, how we worked with Raquel, how we worked with Shay, how we work with Wyatt. And she literally comes up with her own custom plan, is like, I got this, watch this.
Yeah.
I think it's like a challenge to see if she's like, let me see if I can tick all the boxes on first try.
I think so. She's honestly so motivated. So I'm excited to see what she's doing. Currently, she just finished her soccer, city league soccer, kind of like the off-season kind of play. And she finished earlier this year. She'd
come back from each
soccer.
One of these games scoring 5 to 9 points. And she'd be like, Dad, I cooked. That's why I was laughing. She'd come home because she was on the high school JV team and then on the city league, which is definitely a different level of soccer skill. And she'd be like, Dad, I cooked today. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is actually really good for you, because she was coming in at the bottom of the totem pole, but got like MVP for her JV stuff. But in City League, she was at the top of the pecking order. Mm-hmm. And it gave her a little bit of cockiness. So the last game, she only scored the one shot for their team in the whole game, and they lost. And
her last game was a little bit hard, but that's okay though.
I love it when kids lose at sporting matches.
I enjoy a good balance between winning and losing in a season. I don't feel like there should be a team that wins every game.
You don't learn much when you win. You learn so much when you lose. So but I love
on
losing.
The opposite, I also don't. Shay was on teams where the whole season he lost. I do feel you need to feel that win. You need to feel that triumph. So there's like a balance. I definitely feel between that.
The next season, that same team went completely undefeated and won all the trophies. But then the team got so cocky, the coach got so cocky that everything imploded on itself. The coach was trying to cherry pick. And so we're like, we're out. This is not what we're here for.
We're not a big fans of organized sports, but that's okay. So then we have Cora, the one that is very task oriented, but I think at her age, she doesn't know what she wants to do at all.
She's so far from leaving the house. I don't even want to talk about it yet.
That's true. You know what? She is a cute 12-year-old. She's going to be a teenager this year. I don't know if I'm ready for all teens, guys. All
13-year-old girls is so hard.
All right. So we've kind of given you a rundown of all the kids. We've lost 3 to adulthood. 3 that live right now are currently in different parts of the world. So we've got Clay, who is on her honeymoon in the Dominican Republic.
Right now.
Raquel is in Rome, Italy. She's right outside Rome, loving I love that she goes and she does so many things. We're going to talk about this on our mission podcast. So please comment down below. And Shay is in the Philippines.
Living in the jungle.
Roughing it more than anybody we've seen, which is so crazy. Wyatt, our slower, methodical thinker, he's taking his time. So we're going to prep him over this next year to help him ease into adulthood. And then Evie, I just have to wait because she'll probably just tell us what's happening.
She will. She will. And then Cora, she's doing her own thing. She's 12. We're going to enjoy that. So thank you guys so much for listening and or watching. If you're listening, come to Raising Ohana on YouTube and we comment, we interact a lot. If you have questions,
you can follow us on Instagram and comment there too, because we do share clips of this podcast on our Instagram.
And that's under Jase Bennett, Jase Bennett and
Rach Bennett. We have so many fun episodes coming up. And our next one is how we prepared our daughter for marriage.
Oh my gosh.
So make sure you guys keep watching. Hang out with us again.
Sex Talk Part 2 coming up.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you said that. We'll see you next time. Bye.